Hello, welcome to RT Today, where we bring you Middletown High School's announcements for the week ahead, a wrap-up of what happened in the news last week, and more. I'm Erin Katie.
Middletown Sportsland Incorporated, the place to find all your sports needs. Located on 108 West Main Street in downtown Middletown.
Let's go to Morgan Bandry with a look back at This Week in History.
In This Week in History, on November 17, 2003, ex-soldier John Muhammad was found guilty of one of a series of sniper shootings that terrorized the Washington, D.C. area in October 2002. Police charged Muhammad and his 17-year-old accomplice Lee Boyd Malvo killed 10 people and wounded 3 others during a 3-week killing spree. On the 9th of March 2004, he was sentenced to death. That's your look in This Week in History.
Now, let's hear about this week's birthdays from Ethan Mulliken.
Happy birthday this week to Ethan Boone, William Lee, Ethan Mulliken, Jonathan Gomez, Caden Fisher, Chad Hoy, Jacob Steidley, Meredith Witt, Anant Nair, Jordan Pryor, Zachary Adolphi, Omar Aguilar Ramirez, Preston Yost, Connor Grossman, Sophie Weinstein, Bryce Whiteley, Nicholas Mottola, and Alan Strickland.
Let's go to Kaylin Zanlow with this week's announcements.
The Frederick County Board of Education voted on November 11th to begin a hybrid learning model for all students beginning Thursday, January 28th. Decisions on what the hybrid model will look like will be determined by the FCPS superintendent based on the Maryland Department of Health's recommendations. Teachers will return to the building 2 weeks before that date to begin preparing for the return to in-person instruction. The board also voted in favor of modified sports seasons, with winter sports practices beginning on Monday, December 7th. Fall sports would start on February 13th and spring sports would start on April 17th. A return to play subcommittee will evaluate health conditions weekly. On Saturday, October 31st, 3 members of the MHS academic team competed in a regional tournament. Congratulations to Luke Eatman, Anant Nair, and Christian West, who won the competition defeating teams from Liberty and Francis Scott Key, and will be moving on in the playoffs. A broadcast of Saturday's match will air on WJZ at 10 a.m. on December 19th. 10 Frederick High School finalists will be selected to exhibit their piece at the Delaplane Arts Center. The Betty Award winner will receive $1,000 and be featured in an article in the Delaplane Arts magazine. The other finalists will receive $100. Visitors to the exhibition will be invited to vote for their favorite work of art from among the Betty Award finalists throughout the duration of the exhibition. The artwork that receives the most votes will be named the 2020 People's Choice winner. The People's Choice winner will receive $250. Enter any time before February 1st, 2020. For application details, go to delaplane.org. Email or message Ms. Lehman, Mr. Mattingly, Mr. Kane, or Ms. Ridgway if you have any questions. Middletown High School recently held a virtual Spirit Week. On Monday, students and staff submitted photos of their music recommendation. On Tuesday, they showed pictures of their at-home baking efforts. On Wednesday, they shared their outdoor or hiking shots. On Thursday, they spotted their best orange and black look. And on Friday, they recommended their favorite scary movie. A winner was chosen randomly from among all of the participants. And the winner of this year's Virtual Spirit Week and free yearbook is Jenna Grossnickel. Congratulations, Jenna, and thank you to everyone who participated. Here's a short video with just some of the photos submitted by the participants.
Great stuff. Thanks, Kaylin. Now let's find out what's been happening in the rest of the world. Here's Lydia Vandry.
Thanks, Aaron. In national news, former Vice President Joseph R. Biden has been announced as the projected winner of the 2020 presidential election. However, litigation has been ongoing from the Trump campaign alleging voter fraud in some states. The president-elect will be declared on December 13th when the Electoral College meets to cast votes. If the former vice president does become the official presidential-elect, all eyes will be on the 2 U.S. Senate races in Georgia, where the fate of the Senate majority lies. Republicans need to hold at least one seat. However, if Democrats win both, it would be a 50-50 split, which would lead ties in voting being broken by the vice president. Last week, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, reacting to a recent rise in COVID-19 cases in many states, including Maryland, tightened restrictions. Maryland is going back to a 50% indoor seating for restaurants, and Hogan warned against indoor gatherings of more than 25 people and non-essential travel. In the last week, the United States alone had nearly 847,000 new cases. During the same period in Maryland, there were nearly 10,000 new cases. From November 5th to November 11th, there were 77 deaths in Maryland from the virus and 7,466 in the United States. Pfizer has developed a coronavirus vaccine that is reported to be 90% effective against the COVID-19 virus. The company held a double-blind test where volunteers weren't told whether or not they were injected with the vaccine or a placebo alternative. But some of them reported they were left feeling like they had a, quote, severe hangover, unquote, while others, including a vaccine volunteer in Austin, Texas, urged that you should, quote, get it as soon as you can, unquote. Now let's go to Morgan Vandry with a panel discussion about the rise in COVID cases and a hybrid plan to get students back into the classroom.
Frederick County Public Schools just announced its plan for students to return to school with a hybrid model starting next semester. We're implementing a small group format inside the classroom. Here to discuss this announcement is RT Plus editor Luke McClister, RT Magazine producer Gabby Pieklo, and RT Today executive producer Patrick VELEZ. So to start off, what are your guys' thoughts on FCPS's hybrid plan starting in January?
Considering the COVID numbers right now, it's pretty smart. I'm looking forward to it if it does actually get to happen, and I just think it's the best way possible to get back in person some way.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally decided to come up with a hybrid plan. I wish they would have had this, done over the summer, but, things happen. I'm just a little confused why, now that cases are spiking, they just now decided to release it. But, I'm not in the FCPS building making these plans, but I don't know, it just didn't make that much sense.
Yeah, I agree. Since cases are spiking, I don't think it's a really good idea to go hybrid now. Maybe next year when or if cases are like way lower, then I think that would be better.
With the option of opting out from small group learning, which option would you choose for yourself, and why is that the most beneficial for you?
I would choose to go to school 2 days a week because that is what you do in the hybrid option, rather than just opting out and staying home because some of the classes I am taking, I found it very hard to pay attention and very hard to get some work done online. And I feel like for me, I'm just more of an in-person learner than a virtual learner.
I personally can't stand sitting in front of my computer all day. I just get irritated and frustrated, and I'm just a very visual and tactile learner. I like to learn by doing, not really by just listening to a teacher give a lecture the entire time. So yeah, I definitely prefer the hybrid plan.
I agree that it can be boring to sit in front of your computer for multiple hours at a time, but the virtual learning is probably more helpful for me because I get to do things like at my own pace more, and I don't know how much I would be willing to do the hybrid.
So with COVID rates changing day to day, cancellation of this plan is always a possibility. So how would you guys feel if they postpone the return longer or decide to finish out the year completely online?
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. COVID numbers are starting to spike up again, and I feel like if we had the best chance possible of going back hybrid was the start of the school year originally, and as of right now, I'm predicting that we will have to finish the year out virtually.
I think it would be smart to wait until the cases drop again, just so more people don't get sick.
What can our community do to strengthen possibilities of returning to school if we are going to?
Middletown as a whole, like, we can only do as much as we possibly can, just wearing our masks and keeping keeping our hands clean and everything. But at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to a state level. So, we could be doing all the safety precautions here, and then maybe you go to like Annapolis and Baltimore, and people will walk around on the streets without masks on, and cases are still spiking all around the state. And it's kind of has to be a group effort. It can't just be individual communities making the effort.
Yeah, our community, the most we can do, I think, is just to keep wearing masks and washing our hands and just social distancing.
Up next, Baron Robb tells us what's been happening in the world of arts, entertainment, and celebrity.
Thanks, Lydia. In other news, Starbucks released their holiday line of reusable hot and cold cups, which includes a color-changing cup. When you pour in your hot drink, the cup changes from green to red. Starbucks and Dunkin' have also started selling seasonal drinks. Starbucks brought back the peppermint mocha, caramel brulee latte, and the toasted white chocolate mocha. And Dunkin' brought back their signature peppermint mocha and signature gingerbread iced lattes, and added a new chai oat milk latte. 2 months after Cassie Randolph filed a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend Colton Underwood, the Bachelor Nation member makes a serious legal decision. In May, the couple announced their breakup on social media, but in September, their relationship took a dramatic turn for the worst when Randolph filed for a restraining order against her ex. In court documents, Randolph accused Underwood of, quote, stalking and harassing, unquote, her between June and August 2020. Randolph dismissed the restraining order with prejudice on November 3rd, along with the police investigation into Underwood. Longtime host of the TV game show Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, passed away recently. Trebek was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in 2019 and lost his fight to cancer on November 8th. Trebek hosted the show for 30 years, totaling 37 seasons of Jeopardy! The host was said to have passed away peacefully at home early in the morning, surrounded by family and friends. In a statement by Sony Pictures, quote, the show is not announcing plans for a new host at this time, end quote. Trebek will be greatly missed by his millions of viewers across the country. Let's go to sports, where Spencer Mawazid catches us up on what's happening on and off the field.
All right, Baron, thanks. And in the world of sports, the NBA has agreed to start the 2021 season on December 22nd. This comes despite many players expressing their displeasure with this start date, since players who played in the 2020 finals will only have a 71-day offseason, the shortest in professional sports history. The Washington football team quarterback, Kyle Allen, dislocated his ankle during a game against the Giants and has been ruled out for the season. Alex Smith will take over for the rest of the season, making him the third quarterback to start for Washington this season. Recent college football teams have decided to postpone upcoming games due to a positive COVID test in the league. Ohio State, Alabama LSU, and Texas A&M Tennessee, along with other college teams, have rescheduled and canceled their next few games. These games that were originally scheduled for Week 11 will be played in upcoming weeks or be pushed back to later in the season.
Thanks, Spencer. Finally, Rihanna Kincaid shares with us some words of wisdom.
Sometimes we may find ourselves envious of the person who seems to get what he or she wants because of a winning smile or a charming personality. Doors just seem to open like magic for them, and opportunities appear to come easily. But here's the deal. So listen up. If you want to be a real winner in life, you have to have much more than personality, because your personality will only take you so far. Now listen to these words about what it takes to enjoy meaningful and long-term success. Personality can open doors, but only character can keep them open. One of the best ways to achieve success you deserve is to constantly be a person who is honest, responsible, and kind. Those qualities alone will not only open doors of opportunity, but keep them open. Make it a great day, or not. The choice is yours.